Well, hello, family. Greetings to you all. Emma Ansah here, back. I have been MIA, so please accept my apologies for not being here. But I had a little bit of a neck injury, and it kind of put me out, so I wasn't able to do anything since last Monday. And I don't know if anybody's ever had a neck injury, but let me tell you, the kind of pain, okay, the kind of pain with a neck injury is absolutely unbearable. And for me, who's somebody that's always on the go and loves to be working and doing things and definitely doing live streams and talking with y'all, I was the most miserable patient, okay? But neck injuries are not anything to play with. So it's really important that you get the rest you need when you have like neck injuries and stuff like that. So I would say I'm about maybe like 75% better, but good enough to come on live and talk with y'all. So I'm happy to be back. Again, my apologies for being MIA. I was supposed to talk about this last week, but I'm here. I'm here. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? It is a Monday here in Canada. We have fall, but guess what? We got snow, okay? So it is a winter wonderland, even though it's fall. And we are expecting 10 centimeters of snow, and it's not even officially winter yet here. So I'm not a happy person today, okay? But I'm being very defiant because although it is snowy and just cold. Do you know what the temperature is here? It is 19.1 degrees Fahrenheit. That's how cold it is here today. And again, it is fall, but we have a bunch of snow. So it is cold, it's windy, it's snowy, and I am not happy about it. And so I decided I'm going to wear white today to defy. I'm not going to wear a gloomy, dark color. Okay. I was like, no, I will continue to wear bright colors all the way through this cold season, which was probably going to be for a good 6 months. So expect nothing but bright colors from me all the time. So today I'm in winter white, okay, in defiance of all that snow. Hey, Danny, how you doing? Yes, bite-sized Brad. That is the topic of today. And I call him bite-sized because he's a very little man. And, let's just talk about the topic of today, which is all of these, the folks who keep stepping to Black men and taunting them, antagonizing them, following them, calling them out their name, and all that other stuff. And then I always say, you have Black men that will very much have the turn the cheek mentality where they're just not going to bother with them. They'll ignore them and what have you, or they'll warn them, stop it, stay away, leave me alone, stop talking to me. Right. And Danny's saying, when will they learn? I feel like they never will because there's no shortage of this amount of stories that I can share. And so when I came across this one, I was like, oh, here's another one. And this man was apparently inebriated. Okay. But I don't care because when it comes to the folks, they always like to use these excuses of, oh, it's a mental health problem, or oh, he was drunk, so you shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, but my thing is this: if you have a mental health problem or you're inebriated, why is it always the Black person that you have no problem targeting? Why is it that with your mental health issues or your being under the influence of whatever it is, how come you have the faculties to target a Black person? Why aren't you targeting people that look like you? So for me, I don't accept that as an excuse. Hey, Netta, how you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks so much for joining. So you know what? Without further ado, let us just all watch this together and we'll discuss further. So let's watch the star of the Brad show for today, Bite Size Brad.
Right now. Go viral for locking you to go viral for doing nothing. For being a you gonna go viral for walking next to me and not doing a goddamn thing. That's the only reason I ain't gonna do nothing to you. I just. Oh!
Hey, CFAS. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Tamika. How you doing? Greetings, greetings. So, what do we have to say about this? So, as I said, apparently this person was inebriated. Okay. And he picked a black man. And the black man told him to keep walking. Oh, C says she needs a replay. Okay, let's watch it again. I'm down for a replay. Let us watch it again. Let me just rewind this and we're going to watch again for the people who are just joining as well.
Right now. Go viral for locking you to. Go viral for doing nothing. For being a. You gonna go viral for walking next to me and not doing a goddamn thing. Yep. That's the only reason I ain't gonna do nothing to you. I just. Oh!
There's the replay. There's the replay, family. Oh my gosh. Hi, hi, so sorry. I hope I'm pronouncing it better. He says, I love it. FAFO. Yep. J Cage, hi, how are you? How you doing? Greetings. The definition of FAFO. Gave him that one piece special. Yep. That man had so many words and it took one piece. Exactly. Um, BB, how you doing? Says, I saw this one. He got knocked the F out. We're not playing with them. Exactly. Brother did a GTA hit. Exactly. But not without warning him first. Okay. Told him to keep walking. He gonna learn today. Exactly. Inebriated with white rage. See, and that's my thing. Like I said before, is the inebriation story. Like we can't accept that anymore because you could be inebriated. Why don't you just go mind your business with your inebriated self? Why is it that you always have to target a black person? And to be honest with you, I find a lot of the folks who do this kind of thing that are inebriated tend to have liquid courage, I call it. That's when they have the courage to step to a grown black man. Whether they're inebriated or not, they have no problem stepping to a young black man or black women or elderly black people. When it comes to a black man, a lot of them are out their minds somehow or under the influence of something. Tamika says LMAO, and people kept walking by like nothing. That was my next topic. That was my next talking point, which is, have you guys noticed lately? Because I see quite a few of these stories where a black man will lay one of the folks out, and in this case, the bite-sized snow roach, and nobody comes to their aid. Have you guys noticed that? They'll be laying there, nobody's picking them up, nobody's even defending them, and nobody's going after the black person. Have you guys noticed that? I'm starting to see that more and more. You know what I think it is? I think they're just sick and tired of their own people as well. They're like, you know what? I'm done with you people. You know what? I don't want that smoke. Who that person that knocked you out? I don't want that. So I'm going to mind my white business and I'm going to keep it pushing. That's on you, right? I feel like that's what it is. Princeton, how you doing? Boy, he took a good concrete nap, BB, and that black guy was good and grown. Exactly. But like I said, that's the only time they have that courage is when they have something going on in their minds or they're under the influence of something. Because even the ones who aren't, they will think that, okay, well, this black man's smaller than me, so I'm going to step with my big white self. And then when the black man calls their bluff, that's when they fold too. You see that happening as well. Um, Sheila, how you doing? They don't want the same. Exactly. Exactly. The folks are like, you know what? I'm staying out of this. I'm just going to just keep walking and mind my business. Let him take a little concrete nap. Okay. C says, I have noticed, yes, they are tired of their own. Yes, yes, I am not seeing the folks defend their people. If they do, they only have the courage to defend it if it's an online thing. Then they'll be coming on, because I know I get a lot of messages from them saying, "Oh, you're a liar. That didn't happen. That's not racist. Why don't you just mind your business? Why don't you just go get a job and stop complaining?" We get all of that online, but when you're faced to say it to my face, they don't do that. They do not do that. Okay. So I agree with you. But I'm just curious, family. Let me know what you would have done in this situation if you had, somebody who looks like, I mean, I don't know, his legs are really short. So, and then his torso is longer than his legs. There's some odd things going on with him. But what would you do in that situation if a bite-sized Brad, you know, was taunting you, walking, taunting you, and he did say a racial slur, by the way, which was muted out. So all of that going on, and he was warned. How would you handle that? T. Clinton, how you doing? He says he noticed the brother's FBA voice. Yep. BB, I'm glad you communicate with your chat room. A lot of content creators don't. Oh, I love communicating with y'all. I'm gonna keep doing that. I love the live interaction. I love getting you guys' thoughts. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm talking to my friends. So you know what? You guys are my friends. I can't see you in person, but I love talking with you. So thank you. And I'm gonna keep doing that all this week. Hunter, how you doing? Mayo mutants think everyone not in the agreement with their beliefs are liars. Exactly. And you know what also too, Hunter, I think it's like the truth hurts, that ugly truth hurts. When the folks are faced with a mirror, and even if it's not them doing it, they have a problem with that. And that's when they'll be like, "Oh, you're a liar, you're a liar." And it's like, it's true. It's true. And anybody who does reach out to me and call me a liar for putting a mirror in front of them and their people, they are obviously anti-Black racists as well. Because if I know I'm not something and I see something, I'm not going to say it's not true unless it hurts me because I'm that person, right? Or I'm guilty of that same behavior. Then the ugly truth of how it hurt, and I'm going to be defensive. But if I know that that's, has nothing to do with me, but I know it's the truth, I'll just be like, ouch, but I got to receive it. So yeah, they just they can't help themselves, right? They can't help themselves. They're afraid, they are jealous, they're envious, they're all of those things. And this bite-sized Brad was very, very, obviously envious of the big Black man, and he got what he deserved. And I'm not going to say that I'm a proponent of violence, but he swung first. So to me, anybody who elects to put their hands or attempt to put their hands on somebody, you have to be prepared for what happens to you. Hey, Jacoby, how you doing? Hey, you don't have to take a crap from nobody, but their brother has own theme song. Yes, he walked off. Respect. Um, Being a female, I couldn't have done anything but walk away. Just don't touch me. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could walk away, but at the same time, you touch me, don't think just because I'm a woman too, I'm alone, if you know what I mean. Okay? Um, Kels 517, how you doing? Yeah, hateful. Exactly. And the thing is, you're drunk, but you still have the faculties to have some hate for a Black person, and you still have the faculties to choose a Black person to follow, walk along, taunt, and do all those things. Why don't you go and bother one that looks like you? And that's why I don't accept that as an excuse anymore. I don't. And neither do their people, obviously. As we've been saying, he was laying there. Shall we watch it again? All who want to watch it one more time say aye. I mean, he was literally laying on the concrete while people just walked around him. He asked for it. And more and more of our people are tired. Tired. Okay, Kel said that I to watching it one more time. Okay, Jacoby, shall we all indulge one more time? Royal's got the popcorn out. I know I should have had some popcorn for this. But yeah, let's watch it again. Sorry, let me grab it. Uh,
right now. Go viral for nothing. Go viral for doing nothing. For being a. You gonna go viral for walking next to me and not doing a goddamn thing. Yep. Only reason I ain't gonna do nothing. I just.
Hollywood 2000, how you doing? Hollywood says FAFO. Yeah. And Mike Light, how you doing? They started with the violence to us, and now that we are woke and don't take nothing from nobody. This emoji, sorry, this emoji. I agree. This turned into an ESPN analyst session. I mean, yeah, I guess boxing, right? uh, but on a more serious note, I do think that we as Black people need to keep our heads on swivel and be careful, because these people are watching us, and that's why I refer to them as snow roaches, because they are multiplying, and they're coming in packs. And I don't know if you guys have seen a report I did on African Diaspora News Channel, which is the other platform owned by our wonderful Philip Scott. But there's a group of cowards, okay, that are here in Canada. They're showing up in parks, and they're in gyms, and they're doing combat drills and stuff, and apparently preparing for a race war. They want to take Canada back, which, by the way, isn't their country. And so, the thing about them is they cover their faces with masks, which is typical of them, right? They're always covering their faces when they show up with mass deportation signs and all this other stuff. We got to take Canada back, but they're all covered up. So we don't know who they are and what they look like. So I say all that to say is we have to be prepared to defend ourselves, because we never know. It could be somebody we're sitting next to. It could be somebody like this moron who is walking alongside this Black man. Never know what they have on them. You never know who they have with them. They may be seemingly alone. So all of those things, we as Black people have to factor when we're moving in this anti-Black racist continent. So, that's just what I wanted to say, not to be preachy or anything, but I'm just saying, I know for me personally as a Black woman, uh, who does what I do, which is exposing anti-Black racists, behaviors and institutions and stuff like that. I'm always, prepared, if you know what I mean. And that also includes self-defense classes, all of that stuff. Like I always make sure I don't leave the house unprepared, and I keep my eyes and my ears open, and I have a really good dog with a really good sense that's trained as well. So, I just wanted to say that to us as brothers and sisters, we have to be prepared. Eunice, good morning. I hope all's well with everyone. Oh, well, he asked for it. Yeah, exactly. He asked for it. Mike says, let's go. Yep. Um, Kel says maybe he had insomnia and he helped him out. Yeah, even with insomnia, still picked a Black person to bother, right? So you snooze, you lose, you know? Um, C says they won't learn until Black Christ returns. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they won't ever learn. So, the only people that need to change, because they're not going to change, the only people that need to change the way they do things is us, and make sure we're prepared. Hunter says they're indeed watching. I noticed a few non-FBAs WS subscribe to Brother Scott's podcast. Oh, not only there, they watch here too. They watch on African Diaspora News as well. They watch, they comment. I get messages from them telling me they watch me. I even get messages for some white men, and they guess what? Do you know what they ask me, family? They're like, why don't you like us? Do you hate us? Why do you hate us? I'm not that. I'm not a racist. My wife is black and my best friends are black and they're my coworkers, and or I'm a business owner and I only hire black people. Like they say all these things to justify why they're not a racist, like as if that makes you not a racist. But I say all that to say is that they watch, and sometimes they get mad. And I've been called everything but a child of God. But you know what, family? That doesn't move me. All that does is fuel me, because that what that tells me is I'm doing something good. And it's triggering you because you are that person. So I'm going to keep exposing you and your people. So I Hollywood says, I don't understand why they think we can't get geared up like they do. Exactly. But more and more and more, they're going to have to learn. And I'm going to keep exposing situations like this so that they can see. Um, Sheila, how you doing? Sheila says, then learn the Emery. Exactly. CFAS says, hey, CFAS is responding to you, Hunter. I noticed too. Jacoby says the brother gave him some of that Seroquel. Exactly. Mike says, all the immigrants, I have to find a way to unite with us. Yeah, yeah. Kel says, blah, blah, blah. Exactly. Blah, blah, blah to them. Oh, you liar. Oh, why do you hate me so much? And they're watching. And you know what? Sometimes they even come under an alias. Like they'll pick a black name and create a YouTube channel with one subscriber just so that they can come on here. And you could tell who they are because of what they're saying. Because if they're supposed to be a black person, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be, defending black people against the folks, right? But when you see them defending the folks, it's like, yeah, you're not a black person. Not to say there aren't some that are sellouts, but there's certain patterns, right? And certain profiles that you're like, you are not a black person. You are masquerading as one so that you can come on here and creep. And then there are the ones that just straight up have no problem creeping because that's how they are. They can't help themselves. It's really a sick and twisted obsession that they have with us. They just can't help themselves, right? So they'll come and watch. It's like this. And then they're like, oh, you guys are just such liars. And it's like, listen, dude, why are you here? You're obviously lost. Hunter said it's either the folks or sellouts. Exactly. Like I just said. Some of them, I'm not suggesting there aren't some that are just skin folk and not kin folk, but there are definitely a bunch that are truly just on here creeping because they just can't help themselves. Sheila says, I was always told, learn the wicked way and know how to defeat them using their energy against them. 100% agree with that. Yup. And just like I said, keep your eyes and your ears open, stay connected to, what's going on, because they definitely are very fearful. They definitely have this great replacement theory mindset, and they feel like black people are going to take over the world, and they don't want to be in the position that they've put us in. They don't want that smoke. So they're like, oh my gosh, we need to get ready to take Canada back and take this country back, and it's like, hello. We were the first and we will be the last. Hunter says they make it very obvious. Yeah, they do. They make it super, super obvious that, they're very bothered by our very existence. So people like Bite-sized Brad, he just needed a little liquid courage to do what he was doing, right? But like I keep saying, there are some black men that will ignore him. That would have ignored him and would have just let him continue to act the fool as long as he didn't touch him. But then he came toward him. And like I said, you never know what they have in their hand. You never know what they're planning. You just don't know. So you got to be prepared. So he flattened him. And there are some who would have just continued to let him just taunt him until he went away with his drunk self. It's just not easy. It's not easy to have that turn the cheek mentality, especially when you see what's going on now out here against Black men by the police, by institutions, by law, by medical care, everything, Karens, Kens, Brads, Beckys. It's, at some point we're like, enough is enough. We've had enough and we're not putting up with it anymore. Tamika says they have too much time in their hands, too much time obsessing about us, way too much time obsessing about us. Wouldn't you agree? It's an obsession. It's an obsession. And do we do this? Do we do this? We're not watching what they're doing. We're not picking them out in a crowd to go taunt them and call them, a racial slur, which for us, what's really the racial slur? But anyway, we're not calling them anything. We're not bothering them. And we're not Karen and bratting the moment. We don't do that. We mind our Black business. So who's the ones that's obsessed and just can't keep us out of their head? We're just living rent free in their minds, right? It's really an obsession. And then there are, and we know this, family, there are people that have a whole platform and all they do is report on us and make good money off of our backs, right? Jacoby says we're living in the age of awakening. Yeah, because as far as I'm concerned, gone are the days where you can just come hose us down and do all of the things that they used to do to us, our ancestors back in the day. No, that's just not happening anymore. And like I said, there are, white men bigger than this one that have, felt like they were going to attack a Black man who they felt like was stronger. So, sorry, shorter or smaller. So perhaps weaker. And they were laid out just like that. Because when it comes to Black men, okay, we're like Samson. We're like Samson in the Bible. Okay. Samson was not a big, muscular man, but he had the strength that God gave him. So you could see him and he would be the average size man, but the strength he had, that is the Black man. That is our DNA, right? Hunter says a lot of people don't understand what turn the other cheek means. It's in regards to the personal slander. It doesn't mean that you can't defend yourself or your community physically. Exactly. Um, yeah, Tamika says that they try to emulate us. They do. They do. Like, even if we're going to look at the snow bunnies, they're in tanning salons, they're spray tanning, they're laying out until they're burnt as a crisp sometimes. They're plumping their lips, injecting their lips and their cheekbones and getting BBLs and all this stuff to like have what we naturally have, right? Our natural beautiful melanin, our beautiful hair, our genetic makeup that makes us hippie and curvy and all of those things. They want, right? They do it. So what is that? Isn't that an obsession? Sheila says they're afraid because what their ancestors did to our people, and we reap what we sow. That's why they're scared. Oh yeah, they don't want any of that. Okay. If someone insults me, fine, but don't speak ill of my family or people. Yeah, listen, like I said, I've been called everything but a child of God. And I to that I say sticks and stones. But if I'm walking somewhere, do not touch me. Do not touch me. That's when I have a problem, because now you are invading my personal space and that's a violation. So now we're going to have a problem. C says that's what makes them mad. We don't think about them unless we have to. They want us fawning over them like the other races do. Yeah, and you know what else bothers them? If they're doing that kind of thing and we laugh at them or we mock them, that bothers them as well. It's not always easy to just laugh it off. Okay, if you get me on a good day where I'm like, you are not going to dim my light today, not today, Satan, then maybe I'll ignore you. But not, like I said, not everybody can do that. And not everybody's saved and sanctified, okay? She says, Grand Rising to you too, Gloria. I just got here in the chat. How are you? We're good. We are just talking about bite-sized Brad. And who got laid out for taunting a brother. And the brother said, you know what? You're gonna step to me, I'm gonna put you down. So it was a good watch, and just make sure you watch it back if you get a chance. Thank you, Masarlis. Loving my locks, yes. And you know what? I I chopped off all my hair about almost 3 years ago. It was like an inch. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start locking my hair. I threw away all my wigs, all my weaves, all of that. Like I had like a bag full, threw it all away. Just, a side note, threw it all away. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm accepting all my gray. See my little the gray intertwined in my locks. I love it. So thank you. We don't have the Crown Act here in Canada, so there still a lot of institutions that would frown upon locks if I wanted to be in the corporate plantation, which I want nothing to do with. But I am embracing it, and I could care less. Nobody's going to tell me that this is unacceptable. I love my locks. I love the journey. So thank you so much, Marsalis. I appreciate that. Reese Lightning Electric. Hey, what's going on? She said, night, night. Exactly. Good for that, brother. Agree. Looking wonderful, Emma, with the natural hair. Thank you so much. It's all about natural. I try to stay as natural as possible because we don't need to, right? As Black people, we are beautiful the way we are. Think of it. They're trying to do everything to look like this. So we don't need all of that. We are naturally beautiful just the way God made us. And that is my final word before I love y'all and leave y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay nice, stay cool, stay safe. And like I said, keep your head on swivel with these folks out here and be prepared to defend yourself because they are really bothered, truly bothered. So just be safe, everyone. Be safe. And I shall see you tomorrow, same time. God be my helper. And we'll dive into another topic. And, we'll keep the conversation going. Because, like I said, I love, coming on here live and talking to y'all. And as I said, we're in a winter snow wonderland. I don't call it a wonderland, but we are in a whole snowstorm, although we're still in fall. So I'm just going to keep wearing bright colors and defy the cold and snow. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I shall see you again tomorrow morning. Thank you. Have a great day to you too, Kel. And I shall see you tomorrow. All right, girlfriend. Talk to you later. See you later.